And now we have the blessing and the pleasure of welcoming the Archbishop of America, His Eminence Elpidophoros, to the podium. Thank you.
Καλημέρα σας. Παρακαλώ καθίστε. Please be seated. What a wonderful way to begin the day. It was like a prayer. Thank you, my dear Archdeacon. You are a brilliant example of what graduates our school is offering to our sacred archdiocese. Your Eminences, Your Graces, my dear sisters and brothers in Christ, every year I have the enormous pleasure of coming to the annual Leadership 100 conference, and I'm always scheduled to deliver a so-called lecture to you. But I don't think of this talk and the subsequent back and forth as a lecture, as if this were an academic setting. It's not. What I experience as I commence these few remarks is that I am addressing friends. I'm addressing fellow siblings in the family of God. And what I would like to open is a dialogue with you like I did all the previous years. A dialogue about how we listen to one another. For there can be no true dialogue without attention from both sides. There is a reason, my friends, why we hear in the church the proskomen. Let us be attentive. Proskomen. We hear this word at so many important junctures during the Divine Liturgy. We hear it before the epistle reading, before the gospel reading, before the recitation of the creed, before the breaking of the consecrated bread, so that we can receive the Holy Communion. Proskomen, τα Άγια της Αγίας. All of these key moments in the Holy Liturgy have an exhortation connected with them. That is to pay attention. Proskomen. Let us be attentive, we say. Well, in the key moments of our lives, when we are entering the communion of real communication with one another, there is also need for paying attention. I hope you can see how the liturgical action and words reflect truths of everyday life and vice versa. As much as I know that our liturgical life is highly stylized and ritualized, it is done so for a reason, so that we might see in and through our worship experience, we might see the reality of God, not only within the walls of our churches, but outside in the world of goodness and light that was created by our loving God for us to enjoy. And also enjoy this in one another. Therefore, when we speak with each other, beyond the courtesy and respect that means we are civilized beings, there should be a deep attentiveness, really listening to what the other person is saying. So as the Lord himself says so many times, and we sometimes wonder, what does this really mean? He said, «Ο έχων ότα ακούειν ακουέτο». Τι θα πει αυτό? What does it mean? The one who has ears to hear, let them listen. Of course, we all have ears and we all listen. We are here. What does this mean? All of us have surely had the experience of being with a superb interlocutor the kind of person who makes you believe that you are the only person in the world they want to listen to as you engage in conversation. This is communication as communion, something we need to teach our young people and something we need to cultivate among ourselves as well. And certainly something the clergy need to practice while preaching. At its root, a sermon is not a series of statements and affirmations and sometimes jokes that we hope the congregation might agree with, make them laugh. A sermon is meant to be a dialogue. Even though only one side may be speaking, it's a sermon. It's the priest speaking. But the reverberation of the sermon in the minds and the hearts of its listeners, and that is literally what the word audience means, is the other, the unspoken side of that dialogue. So today, I am speaking to you, but I'm speaking also with you. And I want all of you to know that I'm deeply interested in your thoughts, in your opinions, in your considerations. I may not agree, or you may not agree with me in everything, but the point is we are together. We are together as people of God. We are together as people of God in conversation, which binds us more closely together than any mere agreement might ever do. But I need to point out that we face a major challenge in our modern situations of trying to practice communication as communion. And this challenge is the intense rise of social media and the personalization of information sources, and what I said before about any mere agreement has become today harder and harder. Even facts are up for interpretation. And this is why we need to refine and enhance our listening skills and make greater efforts to pay attention to not only what is said, but as much to who is doing the same. At the end of the day, everyone wants to be heard, and social media helps with that. Everyone wants to be seen. The selfies on social media. Everyone wants to be listened to. And not just for an audience to boost their egos. That is only a performance aspect of communication. True dialogue follows in the footsteps of our own Socrates, who established the dialectical method, not at the comments under the pictures of the social media. We speak to one another, and as our great patriarch Athenagoras once said, we look into each other's eyes. So, thank you, my dear friends, for your attentive listening to me. That was a very short speech, and now I am anxious to listen to you. Let us be attentive. Let us proskomen τα Άγια της Αγίας.